Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
Hello, and Happy New Year to everyone out there. We are very excited about 2026. We're looking at the year that you take back control of your life, and a lot of people out there are ready to hit the ground running. We have a guest with us today, and the great Clay Clark. He will introduce him, and away we go. Happy 2026.
Hey, well, Mel, thank you so much for allowing us to be here. Rob, thank you so much. And I wanted to bring on a friend of mine, a guy we've had the opportunity to work with him. He's a business coaching client. And true story, this guy, he and his wife have grown a company from a startup, where that's where every business starts, into where he has over 350 employees. So there's not a lot of people out there that have 350 employees. Furthermore, there's not a lot of people with 350 employees that are choosing to make their schedule available, not to sell you anything, but just to encourage you that success is possible. So, Kevin Thomas, I wanted to welcome you onto the show. Kevin Thomas, how are you, sir?
Absolutely fabulous, Clay. Enjoying the Christmas holiday. Glad to be here with you and Mel K.
Thank you. We're excited to have you here. So, Clay, let's get into it. We are empowering people to empower themselves in 2026.
So here's kind of the thing I just want to start off with, and I want to really tap into your wisdom and Kevin's and Rob's, because it's a very similar process no matter what path you choose. Step one is you have to believe that you can actually do it. You know, Napoleon Hill once said, he said, if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. Other people have said, if you believe it, you can achieve it. People have phrases they come up with that kind of rhyme with Eve. But the point is, you have to eventually say, I believe in myself enough to move from where I am to where I want to be. For those of you that read the Bible, Abraham at the age of 40, basically God called him to leave his kinfolk and to pursue God's calling. For those of you who are really into the Bible, Moses at the age of 40 essentially decided to change paths with his life. You don't have to be 40 to change paths. You don't have to be 20, but you do have to start. I want to get your thoughts on this, Mel. I mean, at a certain point, you said, all right, I am leaving where I am from, and I'm going to go to Hollywood, and I am going to become a writer, producer, movie, show producing person, scriptwriter, and you did it. But do you remember the feeling of borderline craziness that followed making that decision, or did you even have those feelings of borderline craziness after or before you made that decision?
Well, I really believed in myself, but I did know that the business was, I knew enough about the business to know that it would be a difficult journey and it wouldn't happen overnight. But I think that I did believe in myself, and I saw the vision, and I had put in the time, effort, and energy to learn the craft, and I knew that I was still learning. But for me, it was really more of what you said. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And that was my attitude when I went out there.
And Kevin, I want to get your thoughts on this because you, and I'll pull up your website so people can verify you're not a hologram, you're not a male model, you are in fact a real business owner. So let me pull it up here. It's multicleanok.com. Full disclosure, Kevin has been a client of ours for a long time. We're honored to help him grow his company. Today, as he's broadcasting, there's 350 plus employees that work with him. However, before 350 employees, Kevin, there was a time where it was just you. And I believe you weren't married yet, Kevin. I believe you weren't married yet. Could you share us when you had this burning desire that was required to start the cleaning, the cleaning, you kind of like the cleaning empire?
Well, Multi-Clean started 33 years ago. I actually was married. It was me and my wife. And I was cleaning 2 buildings, making $785 a month. And she was working in a hospital making $7 an hour. And that was 33 years ago. And we fought and fought and fought. We were consistent. We were determined. We worked hard. Those are all things that, you need no skill. And we did those hard things. And now 33 years later, we've grown the business from $785 a month. Wow, it's hard to say. Believe that's where I've come from, to an incredible pace, an incredible amount of revenue.
Wow.
I want to encourage everybody out there. So step one, and Rob, I want to get your thoughts on this because you and Mel, now you've changed again, you've transformed again. Now you have a podcast, right? So it's like, okay. And Rob, you came from the banking industry. You'd had success in that. Mel, you'd had success in Hollywood, but once you make that initial jump, you don't get to stop. It's the one constant is change. Rob, what is for anybody out there watching this show, they're inspired to start a new year and they're going, okay, I want to do my thing, but they're a little on the fence. What do you say, Rob?
Well, there are different ways to start, but I would agree with you because when I started my bank, I had a very clear vision of what I was going to create. And I could almost I could literally envision the office and the layout. And I really viscerally felt that. And I did all the hard work to get there. When we started the Mel K Show, that was just a little bit different because that was just a passion. I mean, we were just so passionate about what was happening at that particular time. This was the lockdown in New York City, that we couldn't think of doing anything else other than, basically, talking about it, fighting for what we believed were losing our rights and the destruction of the children around us that we saw. So that was a passion. And then we kind of backfilled. We saw success, but the consistency is probably in addition to, Mel's incredible talent and her work ethic, but just the consistency of being able, always showing up. And actually in the beginning, when you started, inviting us on tour and people were, come here, come there. And I remember we used to talk about this and say, well, you know what we do? We show up.
Yeah, we show up, and then no matter what. And that's also the same in Hollywood. I think it was Woody Woody Allen that said it, but 80% of making it in Hollywood, and I would say in anything, is showing up. So, so no matter how I was talking to somebody that just started a Substack, and it's going a little slow. And I said, listen, we just kept going and going and not looking at the numbers for the first like 3 to 6 months, just continuing to put out consistent content and showing up every day. And then by that point, then we started to grow, and there were highs and lows, but it was really about consistency and at the end of the day, not giving up no matter what.
Now, folks, I have not shown Mel K my notes, so she doesn't know what I'm saying. There's no passive aggressive. I'm not arguing. I just want to make sure that you hear I'm agreeing with what Mel just said, and I want to add step 2. This isn't a rebuke of what she just said. It fits together, I promise. Hang in there, folks. So step number 2 is you do want to do the math, right? But you can't be discouraged by the math. Hopefully this makes sense. You have to do the math, step number 2, but don't be discouraged by the math. So let me give you an example. And again, I'm just echoing what Mel just said. It's like at a certain point, you almost can't look at the numbers because it's so discouraging when you're starting something. And that's why I wanted to bring on Kevin on today's show. When you're starting something, in his case, a janitorial service, or in my case, I was starting what would become America's largest wedding entertainment company. We're doing 4,000 weddings a year. The amount of rejection needed to book my first wedding was unbelievable. So what I did, I hate to glamorize this story. I don't want people to think that I had a silver spoon. I would meet all my clients at Panera. Oh, yes, the life of luxury. All my clients at Panera. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. Oh, yes, folks, the triple crown. I had 3 jobs, Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And yes, folks, I did meet all of my clients at Panera. And the manager, her name was Shelly. And Shelly would remind me about every half hour that I had to buy something or I had to leave. That was a real thing. I was 20 years old, 19 years old. And so I'm in Panera, and they have this little conference room you can pay a little extra for. I'm in there calling people registered at a bridal show. So I got a list of people that have registered at a bridal show, David's Bridal or the Bridal Warehouse. They've registered for a chance to win something. And I'm calling them, and my pitch every time was, hey, is this the amazing Karen? And they go, yeah, Karen. Hey, Karen, I wanted to call you. I'm calling on behalf of DJ Connection. We're a wedding entertainment company. You'd registered for a chance to win. And they're like, yeah. And I go, unfortunately, you didn't win the trip to Hawaii. You only have one of those we're giving away. And we would legitimately give away one big winner. But I would say, however, you get 15% off just for registering. And I'd love to meet you for just 10 minutes because I really would love to earn your business. And I promise you we're the best entertainment service, the best priced. You're going to love it. Money back guarantee. And then Karen, this bride-to-be, who I just cold called, would go, could you email me something? Could you mail me something? Every time. And I would say, I can definitely do that. And I also want you to know, just so you're clear, it's $1 to book with us. And then after the wedding, you just pay whatever price that you want to pay. Karen? I'm just begging. I don't have a visual. It's just on the phone. And she would go, yeah, okay, we'll meet you. Where at? I'm like, well, Panera Bread, 71st and Lewis. Like, Panera? Yeah, Panera Bread. I'll be in that part of town. That's because I had one car. My wife would drop me off in the morning, and I wouldn't leave. I'm not kidding. I wouldn't leave until they shut down. But that's what I did. That was the glory. That was the glamour. And I knew that if I made 100 calls, I called it dialing for dollars, I could set 3 appointments. 100 calls, 3 appointments. And I did this every day. And then after I'd make my calls, it took about 4 hours. I'd go put on my Applebee's shirt, go work there, go work at Target. Vanessa would drop me off. And that was my flow. So I just encourage you, step number 2 here, folks. Do the math, but don't be discouraged by the math. So Kevin, when people meet you now, they go, well, you have 350 employees. You're in the top, 1/10 of 1% of entrepreneurs. Wow, you're doing something. Can you talk about how you, to Mel's point, you kind of had not get discouraged by the math, but you also had to know the math. What was the balance? How did you do it?
Well, I just want to say I agree with what Mel was saying about to keep showing up, because keep showing up is so important to business success, because it takes you don't need any kind of special skill except to show up and work hard and be consistent. As far as the finances go, early on, it was really difficult. You didn't know how you were going to live on $785 a month, and my wife making $7 an hour. And so it was difficult. The finances now, it's a whole different game, because now Multi-Clean doesn't do $785. It does about $700,000 a month.
and we're on pace to do 8 million in 2025. So we've had a great year. We're excited about that, and the finances are doing great.
Now, step number 3, Mel, is you have to find a proven mentor or a proven consultant or a proven coach or insert the blank. And again, I'm just being very objective about this. It is true. That is what I do for a living. That is true. That's what I do. People pay me to help them grow their company. We're good at it. And if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can see thousands of case studies. But I can also tell you, I reached out to a guy named Bruce. And you go, Bruce? How did it go with Bruce? Well, Mel, this is the pitch with Bruce. Bruce said, Clay, he's from New York, by the way, kind of an upper. And Mel, he's like a guy from New York, but a guy with the really thick, almost like Joe Pesci kind of, Joe Pesci energy, kind of like he had that. I'm not super familiar with the mobster movies, but he had that kind of way he talked. And it was $3,000 a month. Now, mind you, I'm 20 years old. $3,000 a month for this guy who had massive success and would tell me what to do. The problem with Bruce, and I love Bruce, I'm thankful for Bruce, is it was a massive contract I had to sign. And every time I would call Bruce, it was a call. He would charge me per hour, per call, per email, and he never actually did anything. So he didn't do website edits. He didn't actually do graphic design. He didn't look at my numbers. It was more of like a work on your business, not work in your business, kind of a high level. But Bruce would say profound things to me like, Clay, you got to have a freaking website that doesn't look stupid. This is the kind of way he would talk. You got to have a freaking website that doesn't look stupid. And I'm going, okay. And Bruce is in his 50s. I'm 20. I'm paying $3,000 a month. Well, Bruce, what should I do to make it look not terrible? Well, you just got to get serious. It looks like crap. It looks unbelievable. It's terrible. It's embarrassing. And this would be the kind of coaching that I was paying for. And looking back at it, I mean, I'm glad I had it. I'm glad I had the feedback, and it did help me. But you got to have somebody, Mel, that knows what they're doing to guide you down a path. And Mel, when you moved out to Hollywood and you're out there acting classes, acting coaches, acting mentors, did you have those people in your life, for people out there listening that don't know your story?
Oh, yeah. Not only did I have them, I had them in New York who were begging me not to go to Hollywood and said, stay here. You'll be better off in New York. But I had a plan and I went. And then, my mentor in LA is still a really good friend of mine. He's also 30 years older and very successful in the business. And again, a lot of the same stuff that we say now, or that you are teaching us, because you're now helping us also in the 2026 growth period that I'm looking forward to. He wasn't, he learned by example. This is how I feel about everything. You always want to find somebody who did it before you and achieved success, but also went through and navigated failures and rejection, because that business is all about failure and rejection and demoralization. And he really taught me every single day, get up, and the first thing you should think about are your wins. First and foremost. And if you even get a call, it's a win in Hollywood. And, everything after that is, you add to that win. But very much about state of mind, mindset, the same thing we talk about, not giving up, not looking at the numbers of auditions you go on that you don't get, but look at that you get them at all. Things like that. Because, you go out there with a really in anything, but particularly in Hollywood, with a very skewed idea of how the power system works there. And I was lucky to have somebody that had navigated himself to a point where he was not only a working actor, but I think one of the best teachers of acting and the business. That's the other thing. I always, a lot of people go out there and they find an acting coach or a writing coach or something like that, that don't teach them the business. The business is a different beast all on its own. So, it's always good to find somebody who's done it themselves rather than somebody who will tell you what to do, yet they don't have the success. He would call it, his name was Richard, he would call it evidence. He said, you got to gather evidence that you're the person for the job, and you have to bring the evidence to show that you're the person for the job. Things like that a lot of people don't think about. They think they walk in the room and they're the perfect person and they're going to get hired. Well, that's not how it works at all.
And I want people to know this. When you reach out to a mentor, somebody, and again, I'll show people how they can find our services. You got to understand that that the mentor has to care enough about you to tell you things that maybe are not comfortable. Now, you don't want to pay someone to beat you up all the time. And in fairness to Bruce, I think I found Bruce at a rough time in his life. I mean, I think a lot of when I was, I was reaching out to Bruce and asking him for help, and I was seeking after him, and he didn't want really to probably work with me. I mean, I'm 20 years old. I'm somehow finding a way to pay him. I'm sure he's thinking my parents are paying him somehow. And yeah, I called him on time and I took notes, but I could tell he was a little bit annoyed by the idea that this 20-year-old guy, and I'm asking him a ton of questions. I get my hour meeting every 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, how do I increase sales? He's like, just why don't you advertise? What's wrong with you? Come on. That kind of thing. It was just that kind of rough, but I needed it. Yeah. But my mom wasn't telling me that. My mom wasn't saying you should advertise more. My mom was going, honey, you're doing your best. I tried to channel my mom voice, but my mom went, oh, you're the best. You are so special. We love you. Way to go. My mom's giving me that. My dad's like, you can do it, son. But meanwhile, Bruce is going, no matter how long you keep doing what you're currently doing, it won't actually get better. In fact, it will get worse because you do not know what you're doing. So you need to have a website that's not terrible. And I'm like, oh, man, anything else, Bruce? No, we talked about it last week. Fix it. Come on. So it's a little bit of intensity. Now, over time, I've been able to find other mentors that were a little more kind to how they communicate. But every single one of our clients, when you go to thrivetimeshow.com, they're all wonderful people that were reaching out for help. You have a perfect clean, a great business owner looking for help. He grew his business by 360% in the first year. Craziness. This is a medical clinic here. This wonderful woman, she's a doctor, grew her clinic by 8 times. 8 times. You see Kevin here from 60 employees to 300 plus employees. There's so many examples, but you got to have someone in your life that's going to tell you how it is versus how you want it to be. There's got to be somebody out there that's helping you contrast where you are versus where you want to be. And Kevin, we've had the opportunity and honor to work with you for a long time now. Could you share with the listeners out there what that experience has been like as we've worked with you over the years to help you scale this company, MultiClean?
Absolutely. The changes that we've been through have been amazing. We first started with a coaching program, I believe 9-10 years ago, and we were lost. We didn't know what to do. We met with Clay. He gave us a 14-point assessment. I said, let's do it. And ever since then, our company has grown. And the one thing about having a coach is, like Clay was saying, is that the coach has the permission to say things to you that no one else can because we're owners. And sometimes owners, and this is my big phrase for owners, is I don't think you realize how important I think I am. And owners will say that to themselves and not allow someone to coach them to make them a better owner. And so through this whole process, it's just helped us grow. It's helped me understand why we're growing. It's helped me understand my numbers. It's helped me understand the importance of not only you coaching me, but allowing me to coach my team to understand why all of the marketing things are important to help our business grow.
And Mel, I want to celebrate Kevin for a second. We were at dinner. I'll be vague about the restaurant, but we were at a restaurant and I looked to my right and there's Kevin and his wonderful wife celebrating his wife's birthday. And there across the way is another client of mine. And it's this highfalutin, nice restaurant in Tulsa. And I looked around and there were 4 clients that I ran into that evening, all in the same spot. And all of us really had the same story. All of us had the story that we were stuck and we got unstuck. Now, I happen to be the common denominator with these 4 stories, but all I'm saying is, whether you go to thrivetimeshow.com, and by the way, you should use promo code MELK because you get a chance to win a backstage pass to our in-person events with Tim Tebow and Eric Trump. But whether you decide to go to thrivetimeshow.com for a mentor or not, you need a mentor in the area of fitness, if that's a goal you have, in the area of your faith, if that's a goal you have, in the area of your accounting, if that's a goal you have, in the area of business growth, if that's a goal you have. Anywhere where you want to become a professional, you need a coach because professionals have a coach and amateurs do not. In any area where you're like, you know what? I'm not really interested in becoming a professional in that area. That's okay. But you really need to have somebody who's showing you a proven path, which leads me to step number 4. And nobody better exemplifies this step. This is not a backhanded compliment than Kevin Thomas. You got to build repeatable systems. You got to build repeatable systems that are so good. So good. This is not a backhanded compliment. They're so good that somebody who's not really excited about life can do it with excellence. So what am I saying? I have a haircut chain. There are some of my employees, Mel, that are great people, some of the best people ever. I'm just being real, though. Some of my employees, they're not super excited about doing a great job. And it's real. Not all of them, but some of them are just not that. And how do I know this? Well, Gallup reports that over 60% of the American population is not engaged in the workplace. Maybe you don't like that stat. Inc. magazine shows that 85% of employees are currently lying on their resumes. If you don't like that stat, the U.S. Chamber shows that 75% of the American workers are now stealing from the workplace. I could go on and give you more stats. So I have a team. Kevin has a team, and we've had to build systems so that the great people can perform at a next level, and for entry-level people, they can quickly learn the systems. And you got to dumb it down to a point where it kind of is boring, you know? And I guess the relationship you want to have with the systems would be like the relationship that I have with Zoom. And Mel, maybe you have a more profound relationship with Zoom than I have. But I use Zoom, and I'm hoping that it works in the background. Rob, I'm hoping that Zoom is zooming right now. I hope that when I hit record, it records. I'm hoping that the Zoom is zooming right now. But I don't, it's simple, so simple, in fact, that I could do it. And Rob, I want to get your thoughts on this. If Zoom required your intellectual involvement every time that you hit the record button, if you had to go in there and figure out how Zoom is zooming and program it and code it and do all that, how scalable would it be for you to record the show if Zoom required you to code it every single time?
I think the answer to that would be zero. But the nice thing is that there are what do they say? You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So there are tools and tricks and things that you can tap into, and a coach, has access to a lot of, a broad palette of tools and experience, because you're working with so many different businesses. So like when I was a banker, a lot of times we would advise companies. And one of the ways that you're able to do that is because you've advised a lot of companies and you've seen it kind of over and over again. As it relates to, building websites and finding leads and hiring and doing all these things, a lot of that stuff has been done over and over and over again. So you can tap into that knowledge and the resources and the tools without having to, overthink it, because that takes a lot of energy and time and resources that can be better spent elsewhere.
Mel, I wish that I would have had a microphone on my staff today, but this conversation happened at the coffee bar in my office. Two employees were talking. One new employee was talking to a longtime employee, and I just happened to be listening. And the conversation goes like this. Man, can you believe the price of silver? Says the new employee. And the longtime employee goes, yeah, it's going to go up. And the new employee's like, man, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, what this and that and market and this and that, and there could be a shortage. And man, do you think I should buy? The new employee's saying this. And the old employee's been here a long time. The veteran employee says, yeah, it's going to go up. That's why I buy it. And it was just this very fascinating conversation, because the new employee was trying to figure out, should I buy today? Has gold hit a peak? I mean, at $70 an ounce, has it hit a peak? And the employee who's been here for almost 10 years is going, what I do is I just buy, and I'm going, you know what? Maybe I was an effective teacher with this young man. He's like, you know what I do? I just buy gold and hold. That's what I do. And the new employee is going, well, how do you know when to buy? He's like, whenever you save up some money, just buy gold. And so, but it was very interesting, because the new employee was very excited to learn about the intricacies of gold and when to buy gold. And the veteran employee was like, we actually have a gold guy that we work with, and he's been to our conferences. You should just buy from him. And it was this whole thing. And Mel, Andrew Sorcini is, if nothing else, the consistency with which I buy and sell gold is boring, which is what I like out of a gold purchase. I don't want a super exciting, I have to buy by Tuesday because the price might go up by 5 times. I don't want an exciting charlatan tale that's going to entice me to put my life savings in gold today. I just want to buy and hold. And I wish I could have recorded the conversation, because I was listening and I was laughing, because the new guy was so excited to be in this environment. He's a longtime podcast listener, and he is just fired up that gold has just moved over 70, or silver is now $70 an ounce, and gold is over 4,000 an ounce. And his mind, he wants to time it just right. because he wants to buy it because it could go up. And the veteran's going, you just got to buy gold and hold. That's the entire premise of the idea. So which leads me to my next point here. This is my next step, okay? So number 4, you've got to build these repeatable systems that are boring. See, when the mediocre get bored, the greats bore down. So I'll give you a little story, and I'll go back to you, Mel, on this. Michael Jordan, legendary basketball coach, or legendary basketball player, he played, obviously, for the Chicago Bulls, was unbelievable. He had a coach by the name of Tim Grover. Everybody should look him up, Tim Grover. And Michael Jordan's, the way he played was this. If he lost a game, Tim Grover shares this story on multiple podcasts, but he would call up Tim after the game and say, Tim, we need to get in 2 hours early tomorrow. So every time he lost a game, Michael decided he would win the next day in the gym. So on the road or at home, if he lost, his routine was, we're starting earlier tomorrow. That was his process. It was like, if we just lost a game, and these games don't end till 11 o'clock at night, he's tired. Who knows? He might have a blister. He might be sore. He might have a sprain, something. And Michael, just his routine was, if we have a loss, we're going to start the workout earlier tomorrow so that I can have a win in the gym. And that was a process. And when Michael got towards the end of his retirement, or towards the end of his career, Kobe Bryant, who was being mentored by Michael, he asked Michael, he said, Michael, can I hire your strength coach? And Michael's like, no, not until I retire, because there is only one Tim Grover, and this is my routine. And so what am I saying? I'm saying, everybody out there, we've got to find a way to find a proven routine, and then to do it. And you got to fight that inner dialogue in your brain that gets bored and wants to chase a new shiny object. We've got to bore down. Everybody watching this right now, you, I, all of us, we want to chase a new car, a new girlfriend, a new boyfriend, a new idea. And there's a place for new ideas, but you've got to implement the boring stuff, and you've got to bore down until success, not. And Mel, I think that's a reverse. I mean, when you were doing acting classes and writing classes, Mel, I mean, how many times were you practicing over and over and over until you felt like you could write competently? I mean, was there even a way to gauge that? Or how many hours before you felt like a confident or competent writer?
Well, writing is slightly different, but I also read a lot. So I read a lot of scripts to become a better writer. Like, I never stopped learning, even after school and after that, and after my first successful experience and sell and all of that. I just knew that there were people that were so much better than me. So I would try to read all of their scripts at the same time and do that. And, I also, on the other side, I love rehearsal. I am a big rehearsal person. So I spent 10 times as much time rehearsing than I did performing always. And, every chance to do that and dig in and do the heavy lifting before made the final performance or the audition or whatever so much better. But I'm a big fan of rehearsing specifically. As you know, most people get at this point that you have to do like 8 takes of the same thing that are exactly the same. So it's a lot of repetition and learning how to, like you're talking about, repeat something over and over and over and make it look like it's new every time, even though it's exactly what you did last time.
Kevin, you obviously are not an actor or actress or writer, Kevin, but you have a janitorial service. And every time you have got to implement the same process. You have to answer the phone the same way your team does. They have to show up and make that first consultation with the commercial client and wow that person. They've got to, you get every single time someone goes to your website, you've got to wow that customer, book that appointment, earn their business, and it can never get boring. You just can't. You have to bore down and figure out how to make it better and better and better. Kevin, have you experienced, because I know I have as an entrepreneur, you get to a place where you're like, man, my DJ company, we are dominating. We're doing 2,000 weddings a year. We're halfway to my goal, and you kind of feel the pull to want to do something entirely new. And, Dr. Zellner, who was a mentor in my life at the time, he's like, no, you have to scale it. You have to nail it and then scale it and stay on this idea until you get to your goal. And that's different than I think that's put out there on social media by a lot of experts. Kevin, how have you resisted that urge, or have you resisted that urge to move on to something new and not do what works?
Because the boring is actually very exciting because it's simple and it takes little skill to show up every day. And It takes little skill to work hard and to be determined and be consistent. And I don't want to have to relearn a new business or relearn. For us, we have a lot of people who will say, "Hey, let's try this new glass cleaner," or "Let's change our logo," or "Let's do something that's just new." And I'm like, "No, the same old glass cleaner is going to work like it has for the past 30 years, and our logo is not going to help us get new business." And so I keep them focused on being consistent and allowing me to coach them up. And then we also focus on our three-legged marketing stool, which has been Google, and they understand how big Google reviews are for multi-clean. And because right now we are the highest and most reviewed company in the state of Oklahoma for janitorial. We also focus on SEO, making sure that we have plenty of content on our website. And then we really encourage and pay very fairly our sales team. And those are the keys to our success. And it's the keys to not getting distracted, is doing the simple, boring things every day.
Now, the next step, folks, if you're scoring at home, step number 5 is you want to schedule your success. Now, to my left, I've got my steps. I'll repeat them real quick so we don't miss a step. Number 1, if you believe it, you can achieve it. I think we've covered that. I want everyone to believe in yourself. You can do it. Step number 2, do the math. You got to do the math, but kind of forget about the math while you're going through the messy middle, okay? 3, find a proven mentor. Just find somebody who knows the way, who goes the way, who has gone the way, someone you can point to and say, wow, they've done that. I want them to show me how. Step number 4, build repeatable systems. It's got to be repeatable. It just has to be repeatable, duplicatable. It has to be. Step number 5, you got to schedule your success. And Mel, this is a big thing. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on the show with you. Every time that you and Rob allow me the opportunity to be here with you, I'm honored to do so, because turns out there's a lot of things that you could be doing. You know, when General Flynn is on a stage, when you're on a stage, the profundity of that to me is always the highlight of the, whenever we do these reawaken events, we have one more reunion coming up here, June 19th and 20th. The big highlight for me, the initial highlight, is always, wow, all these people have chosen to be here at this appointed time. You know, Mel Kay's there, General Flynn's there, your good friend Roseanne is in the house. It's just, I'm going, wow, it is so great that everybody has chosen to be here. That's a powerful idea. And again, Kevin, I appreciate you choosing to be here. I appreciate Rob for you choosing to allow us to be here. For Mel, I appreciate that, because, you know, this is at a time we could be doing a lot of things, and you have to design a schedule that's going to allow you to have success. So let me just give you an example. Christmas this year, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll pull up my calendar here, was on a Thursday, and Christmas Eve was on a Wednesday. So that means that a lot of my Wednesday and Thursday had to move to Saturday and Sunday, because I got a very packed Wednesday and a very packed Thursday, and so that had to move to Saturday and Sunday. But in a normal week, I've got a schedule from 6 a.m. to about 6 p.m. that is very regimented. Every hour, I'm blocking out time for returning calls, blocking out time for responding to emails, blocking out time for doing an interview, blocking out time for hiring employees, blocking out time. Whatever I want to get done, I have to schedule. And your success or lack thereof is in that schedule. It's in that schedule. You got to design a schedule. You got to create habitual success. And I think, you know, Rob, with the bank as an example, you had hours that you were open. And that's an obvious example for anybody out there. There were hours you were open and hours you were closed. Rob, when the bank is open, what's the normal banking hours that you had when you were running that bank?
Well, we would start actually quite early, because we had a research division and we put out research every morning. So I was typically up 4:30, 5:30, working by right then, till sometimes 10 or 11 at night, because we were, raising capital for all kinds of different companies all over the world. And so in that kind of business, you never stop. I would say that as an entrepreneur, you never stop working, because you're always, it's your thing. So you have to, show up when opportunities arise. But going back to the scheduling part, which is there was we knew, because we were market hours, and we knew the research had to go out at a certain time, trading started at a certain time. You had to, at the end of the day, you had to, reconcile your trades, the whole thing. So it was very regimented and very specific. But the big business stuff happened 24/7.
And again, I just want to be very clear for anybody out there that's maybe hearing this and you're going, what am I trying to communicate? I'm trying to communicate. You have to design your life. Like, it's so important. So you look here, we've got the Reawaken reunion coming up here June 19th and 20th. And let me tell you what I'm doing on June 19th and 20th. I'm doing the Reawaken reunion. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else because that's what I'm doing. Now, today, Tim Tebow and his wonderful team, they're clarifying the details, but we'll have Tim Tebow speaking at our business conference, which is in April. So Tim Tebow, the football player and entrepreneur, will be there in April. But when Tim's there in April and when the Reawaken reunion is happening in June, those are things that I am going to be mentally and physically present for. And I think, Mel, in this world we live in now where so many people can work remotely or from home or whatever, I think a lot of entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs are constantly scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through X, Twitter, YouTube, whatever that is, posting on these things to the point. I want to show this statistic because it's not believable unless you see it. According to Nielsen, the average person is now consuming media for 11.3 hours per day.
Wow.
And so how do you get anything done when you're working 11.3 hours a day for free, consuming social media? I would argue that you're not going to. So again, just to recap here, I would encourage everybody out there, get out a calendar right now. Let's seize the year, okay? Let's get intentional, and let's design our day. And then things that I would recommend that you would put in your schedule every day, big rocks I would never drift, is one, I would block out time every single day for planning your day. I would do it. Block out time for planning your day every single day. Two, my wife and I do this. Block out time to look at your numbers. Block out time to look at your numbers. And it's not going to be a fun time. It's not a fun time. It's not where we're driving around. I'm not in a fun house. I'm not at a basketball game. I'm not having a good time. I'm not watching reruns of Seinfeld. I'm looking at my numbers, and it's not an exciting time. It's not a fun time. But it's a time where I have to look at those numbers. There can be fun moments of that time, right? And the third is you got to make sure you're investing some of your money in yourself. And whether that's through starting a business or whether it's investing with buying precious metals through Andrew Sorcini or bh-pm.com, it's a non-negotiable in my life. Like, I don't buy gold and silver because the price of gold and silver is going up. I'm not doing that. I'm buying gold and silver because I know that I'm not buying gold and silver because I know it's going up today or there's some new trend. I know that long term, and I've been buying precious metals since 2005. I know the value of the dollar will go down, and I know the price of precious metals will go up. And so, Mel, it's just something we do on a monthly basis. I don't think about it. I'm not super emotional. I don't wait for the price to go up or down. I just do it, but it's in my schedule. So when it gets to that time of my schedule where I see call Andrew and buy gold, it forces that idea, right? Am I going to actually call Andrew and buy precious metals? When I see that part of my schedule that says, prepare for conference, sound check on the day before the Reawaken event, it forces me to do that. But what gets scheduled gets done. Mel, I want to get your thoughts on this, because if we learn all this stuff today and we don't block out daily time to actually look at our schedule, and we don't block out a time to actually invest, and we don't block out time to actually do these things, we're going to be perpetually inundated with just Instagram reels and things that will distract us.
Yeah. Well, we have to plan every day. Well, actually, I plan my day the day before because I do a daily live news show on Rumble, and it starts every day, whether I'm ready or not, at noon to 1:30 Eastern every single day. So by the time I end the show on, like today, I end the show at 1:30, by the time around 4 or 5 p.m., then I'm starting to prepare for the next day. The next day. But what's good is that I do have a schedule. Like, I try to be done by 5 or 6 every night, so that I can do that. But at the same time, I still make time for Rob, and we separate work and business because we're business partners and life partners. But everything is very scheduled around what I chose to be my live streaming hours. And that's just every single day, Monday through Friday, the exact same thing. And it works for me because A, it keeps me consistent, and B, I know that, by the time I'm done for the day, that the news doesn't stop, but I know that it's this certain time I'll stop and then I'll start again, prepare for the next day. So my schedule is very solid right now. There really isn't much room, and I like it that way. It's made life a lot easier, honestly.
Now, these final 3 steps, for the sake of time, I'll kind of speed up the pace a little bit so people can, there's 3 final steps I want to get into here in my stack of stuff. The next step is you want to measure what you treasure. And we've talked about it in different ways, but it's just very important that is an intentional thing, that you measure what you treasure. And I'll just give you an example. One of my longtime clients, he's a pastor. And this pastor, he had a hard time. And Kevin, I'm sure you've never done this. I know I've never done this. I'm sure none of the listeners have ever done this. But, you go to a church. And if you're part of a church, one of the things you want to do at church is you want to donate something. You almost feel bad if you're drinking coffee and you're watching the sermon, you haven't given at least $10, So what the pastor was finding is that so many people were coming to church, leaving, and not donating anything. And I'm not talking about tithing. I'm not talking about huge donations, just anything. We're looking around, there's like 800 people at the church, and there's, not even $5 per person coming in on donations, which doesn't cover the cost of the air conditioning, the building, anything. And so the pastor's going, if you were me, what would you do? This is a client of mine. I said, well, I'd get up in front of that pulpit and tell people, look, you guys are great people. We're so honored to serve you as a pastor. And what I find is we're all busy. And if we don't just set it and forget it, we're probably going to forget to ever donate. So I'd like everyone to go ahead and get your phone out right now. And we're going to go right now onto our website, and we're going to go ahead and sign up for a recurring giving amount. And I don't even care if it's $10. I don't care if it's tithing. I'm not getting into that today. Just something. If everyone could just do something, because being honest with everybody here, currently we're averaging nothing. And the pastor, Kevin, we role played this speech. We went over this speech. He was super nervous. And I said, no, you got to tell people that right now we're averaging about nothing. So the pastor gets up there. And of course, in the audience, people are looking around like, oh my gosh, he's actually showing us how the average donation is not going to keep this place open. We need to do something. And from that conversation to the end of that service, he got, let's say 20% of the people in the church to donate something recurring. And now he no longer has financial problems. But for the longest time, he just wouldn't look at the numbers, and he wouldn't ask people to bridge the gap. And so it was this weird deal where he was financially barely making it. Nobody knew about it. And once he did the call to action, there were just massive amounts of donations. Now to this day, he never really has to think about the numbers because he addressed it. But he wasn't addressing it because he was trying to kind of put it in the junk drawer, and not really talk about it. Could you talk about measuring what you treasure, Kevin, once you kind of get some momentum while you have to look at those numbers on a weekly basis?
Absolutely. Actually, it's pretty dangerous if you don't know your numbers, because every business that I know of is we're in business to make a profit and make money. And so if we know those numbers, if we know our costs, for us, it would be labor. Labor is probably 60% or more of our costs, and also the cost of supplies and then overhead. And we have that down pretty much. It fluctuates from time to time, depending on what's going on. But we need to really know those numbers, and we go over them regularly. We go over them with my general manager, and we have to know them. It's just crucial to the success of any business, and it goes back to the boring stuff. Who wants to really go over their numbers? Yeah, it's not exciting, it's not glamorous, but it's something you have to do, is go over those numbers consistently.
Now, the final 2 steps here, folks, you got to document your wins. Mel, you talked about that earlier with the mentorship you were given, but you need to document your wins, And so what am I saying? I'm saying, in Kevin's case, he's got just a massive arsenal of reviews from actual customers that have used his service before. So you go up here and you go to Multi-Clean and you look, and there's just so many reviews and testimonials from real people that have actually used his service. And it makes the customer feel safer. They go, wow, I'm not going to be the first person you've ever worked with. Wow, you've been doing this 30 years. You look like you've been doing it 30 years. People feel good about it. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com, we have so many testimonials. I'm not kidding. Today, we're recording an optometrist who went from not doing well to just absolutely thriving this year. We're going to record his story. we've got a seamless gutter company tomorrow. We're going to share their success story. So you click here on testimonials. You can see that you've got to document your success stories. It absolutely has to happen. And then the final step you have to do, and then I want to get Kevin's thoughts on this, is you got to embrace the rhythm of success, which goes like this. You define what you think's going to work. You act, you measure, and then you refine. I'll try it again. You define, you act, you measure, you refine. You define what you think's going to work. You act right before you're ready. Then you measure the results, and then you refine over and over and over. So I want to ask you this, Kevin, and I'll go to Mel there. Kevin, we've been doing this together for 8-9 years, and every week we meet. You define what we think's going to work. You act, we measure, we refine. Could you talk about the impact that weekly business coaching has made on you, or maybe the conferences or whatever, how that's impacted you?
Actually, having the business coaches has really changed our business. It's helped our marriage, if you can believe that. And my wife and even my general manager and some of my staff have told me that when you started working with Clay in Thrive Time, your whole attitude changed, everything about your demeanor changed. And my wife said that if you ever decided to leave Thrive Time, that would be a big mistake. In fact, she won't let me. She won't let me leave Thrive Time because it's really kept me focused and honed in on what's important in the business. It's taught me so many things about the boring. I know I go back to the boring, but it just taught me so many things about Google and SEO and having a strong sales team. And the coaching has been there because my coach, Andrew, he says things to me no one else can in a way that no one else can. And that coaching is awesome, and we love it.
And Mel, I would just say this too, for anybody out there who wants to verify Kevin is a real person, a real business, not a hologram or a male model, you can go here to multicleanok.com. That's the actual website, multicleanok.com. Although most of our clients are not in Oklahoma, Kevin happens to be one of the Oklahoma-based clients, and you can see thousands of success stories by going to thrivetimeshow.com. Also, we got the Reawaken America Tour reunion, also known as the Remnant Rising. That's coming up June 19th and 20th. Also, you could schedule a free consultation for one-on-one business coaching with myself. We'll do a free 13-point assessment. And if you use promo code MELCAVE to request the Reawaken Tour tickets or for an assessment or for tickets for the Tim Tebow business conference, if you use promo code MELCAVE, you have a chance to win a backstage pass. You also get discounts off of tickets. And Mel, I want to go back to you. With your business, you're evolving. I mean, there's a growth happening. And as the political landscape is shifting in 2025 and 2026, even on the podcast, you have to define what you think is going to work. You act, you measure the results, and then you have to refine. Could you talk about that? Because you have a daily show, and I don't think people recognize how much work goes into the preparation before you go live. But could you talk about that methodology of define, act, measure, refine?
Yeah, I mean, and as you know, I do the whole show myself, so it's a whole different level. But really, what has changed everything is that we started working with you not too long ago, and Rob now, because of your leadership, your mentorship, we have our weekly meeting. We also have our what's working, what's not working, what's coming up, what we have to do by when. And for me, it's just been an extra ability to understand. Like here's what we're doing. We're doing the show, but then we're sending out newsletter and we're sending out this, like who's opening them, what's working, what's not working. So since we've been working with you, we've really eliminated things that, we were told would work and they just weren't working, but we continued to do them and they weren't working. Or we're paying people so much money when it's like, you kept saying, Mel, do it yourself. You can do it yourself. And I'd always be like, but that's not really what I'm told. You have to kind of change your mindset to, what you thought also, particularly with our website. Like you're amazing at websites and SEO and all that. And I noticed that they're all very clean and they there's no gimmick, there's no shtick. They are what they are, but they work and they're effective. So I think it's a lot of, especially since Rob and I started working with you not too long ago, because the environment did change and there is a lot of, we still really aren't welcome on YouTube. So that's a monetization we don't have. We don't grow on X. That's a monetization. So we had to find other places to make money. And something you're talking about, and this really changed for Rob, was Rob does it a lot. I don't love it, but because I never wanted to be this person or have to ask for support. but we are not welcome because of my content on a lot of the places where people blow up to millions and millions of followers. We are a very niche market here at the Mel K Show, and we had to start. Rob had to say, you know what, if you want us to keep doing our show, we really need your help, and we really do. And I think the best thing we've done is develop a relationship with our regular core audience, that they always show up and they always give us support and they always do that. And Rob responds to them. That's one thing that you also brought to the table with us, was to like reach out to people, tell them, hey, I saw you said this or you sent this in, and how's it going? We wanted to tell you how much we appreciate you, and it's making a big difference. So for me, all these little things that we would never think to do, we are doing now because of your coaching, but also all the things that we were doing that everyone else does that weren't working for us. Instead of now thinking, well, why is it working for everyone else and not working for us? You just said, don't do it. We were like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't do that anymore if it doesn't work, if it's not beneficial. So I think it's a lot of that, but I think it's really particularly helped Rob because he's not a schedule guy, and now he knows that every Thursday and I tell him, I say, is there anything you need to do for the meeting tomorrow with Clay? Well, I go, you better go look, and we have a whole document that we just open every week, and it's
hopefully we're cutting some expenses. I can tell you that.
Cutting expenses, but we're a little, we're not great at that. We're still New Yorkers at heart, so it's a hard thing. We're so used to but we are cutting all of that. But the truth is that it's given us also a sense of being more responsible for the actions we take and the time we don't waste anymore. We wasted a lot of time before we started working with you, I think.
I wanted to say one thing here before you guys have to hang up on us. I cannot encourage everybody out there more that Mel, your heart has been for your audience to be empowered, to be encouraged, and to know that they have the mental capacity and tenacity needed to have success. Your heart has always been to, yes, you talk about difficult topics on your show from time to time, but the heart has never been to give your audiences a heavy burden of facts that they can't comprehend. The purpose has always been to liberate people from the shackles of whether it be self-imposed tyranny or tyranny from an out-of-control government. And I just encourage everybody out there, if you love yourself, and I know you do, I would encourage you to go to rumble.com, find the Mel K Show. Everybody do it right now. Go to rumble.com, find the Mel K Show, and click subscribe. Again, go to rumble.com, find the Mel K Show. Find them on what Rumble. Find the Rumble. Go to rumble.com, find the Mel K Show, click subscribe. That's a powerful way to pay it forward. Click subscribe. Second call to action is please find Kevin Thomas's website, MultiClean. This is a real search engine optimization pro tip for everybody out there. If you'll find his web address and you'll just share it on your social media, like, hey, I learned something today from this guy. So just share today's show, but put a link to Kevin's website. It helps Kevin's website rank higher in the search results. So share the show and then just put a link to Kevin's website. It takes an extra 2 seconds, but it will help rank his website much more highly. So again, let's go to rumble.com, look for the Mel K Show. Rumble.com, that's where you go. Got to verify I'm a human right now. I'm waiting to verify I'm a human. Then I'm going to click Mel K Show. There are other shows that are not the Mel K Show. You want to find the Mel K Show. Click subscribe. That's what you do. Share the show. And then my final call to action is please, if at all possible, folks, find a way to come join us here for the in-person. We've got Eric Trump. We've got General Flynn. So many wonderful patriots that are going to be there. Mel K will be there. But we want you to be there. So if you're watching this show, we want you to be there. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Request tickets June 19th and 20th. Mel, I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you guys very much.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and people that parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 in the morning. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is the creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed, and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group I was so impressed. Because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay. And what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
My name is Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call, and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual, and we picked it up, and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to 100% growth. We're like a full functioning company. It's great. We're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls, we've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly, incredibly encouraging all the time, and he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive, but I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something, and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or what was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business, or was that something that you were maybe excited about, or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're going to fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa.
Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments with Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6, 7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6, 7 years.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me You have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 in the morning. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. You know, this is the creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed, and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology you tell your group. I was so impressed because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay, and what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
My name is Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual. And we picked it up and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to like 100% growth. Like we're like a full functioning company. It's great. Like we're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls, we've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant like cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly encouraging all the time. And he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive. But I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or when was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business, or was that something that you were maybe excited about, or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're going to fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa,